Hello everyone. In this video I am going to explain you about the concept decision tree analysis. See, decision tree analysis is a method. It's a discounted cash flow method which comes in capital budgeting. When we are identifying the process of capital budgeting, we can identify or we can find there are two different methods. One is discounted cash flow method and non-discounted cash flow method. So in the discounted cash flow method, we have various methods such as risk adjusted discount rate, sensitivity analysis, probability analysis and decision tree analysis. So in that I am taking the concept decision tree analysis, and in this decision tree analysis, this concept in the examination will come for section C type of category, that is for 15 marks or 14 marks based on the section C marks, where the maximum calculations will be there in this particular topic. And when we talk about capital budgeting, we will decide when we have lots of alternatives to invest the money, we have to identify the best opportunity or best alternative. So suppose we have two alternatives or two projects which are available to invest, or two proposals to invest. We have to evaluate the return. On the basis of the return, we can choose the best proposal or best project or best alternative. And when we talk about the profit of a project or an alternative or a proposal, along with the return, we have to think about, or we have to calculate the risk. So if I am earning certain profit under some project or alternative or a proposal, we should be in a position to identify what is a risk which is associated to get those profit, because if we want more return at the same time, we should be in a position to take more risk. So as much as the risk is associated with the return, we can say the risk and return are parallelly related concepts, because if the return is more, at the same time the risk is also more. And here in the decision tree analysis, will identify the return for a particular proposal. At the same time, we will identify the risk by comparing the difference between the return and the risk. We are going to suggest whether we have to accept the proposal or we have to reject the proposal. And decision tree analysis is a concept where it can be said, or it can be, the meaning for this decision tree analysis is it is a graphical representation of a relationship between a present decision and future event and its consequences. The sequence of the event is mapped out over time in a format resembling the branches of a tree. So here in this particular concept, or in this particular topic, we will identify the present and the future cash inflows and outflows, and the same inflows and outflows with the calculation will be represented in a graphical way, or graphical representation will be there. And that graphical representation, we can see it will be in the form of a branches which is there in the tree. That's why we will call it as a decision tree analysis. Any decision which will be represented in the form of a tree or a branches in a tree, we will call it as decision tree analysis. And in this decision tree analysis, we will take into consideration the present information and the future event and its consequences. And for calculating or to identify this decision tree analysis, we have to go with certain steps. Which are those steps? Here I have written the steps, such as the first step is identification of path. See, identification of path. So here when we talk about identification of path, we can find there are various cash inflows for a particular proposal for certain years, and here the first and foremost step is about to identification of path, because if you are unable to identify the path, then it is not possible to move on to the second step. So when I am going to explain you about the problem, I'll tell you how the path will be identified. Second one, identification of cash flows for given year. They may give the cash inflows for 1 year or 2 year or 3 year. You should identify the cash flows which is for first year and which is for the second year. So that comes to the second. Third one, calculation of discount factor. So calculation of discount factor at the given rate. So they will give in the problem such as 12%, 8% or 10%, whatever may be the percent they can give. You have to use a formula that comes to 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n. By using this formula, we have to calculate the discount factor. Why we are calculating this discount factor? This discount factor will be calculated to evaluate the time value of money. The next one, calculation of present value of cash inflows. So present value of cash inflows will be calculated by multiplying the step 2 and 3, that is cash inflows into discount factor. If you are multiplying these two, we will get the third one, that is present value of cash inflows. Then after calculating the present value of cash inflows for each year, then finally we are going to calculate the total present value of cash inflows. So total present value of cash inflows will be calculated by adding the present value of cash inflows for given number of year. Suppose they have given for 3 years, you have to calculate 3 years cash flow. You have to calculate 3 years discount rate. You have to calculate 3 years present value of cash inflows. And after that you have to add all 3 years cash inflow. Then finally it comes to calculation of net present value. See, net present value will be calculated by identifying the difference between the total present value of cash inflows, which we have calculated in the previous step, minus initial investment. For each and every problem, there is no any problem which will be given or the question which will be given without initial investment. So we have to deduct the initial investment, that is cash outflow, from cash inflow. So cash inflow minus cash outflow will get either it may be positive or negative. Then we have to calculate the probability, joint probability. So joint probability will be calculated by multiplying the probability of first year into second year into third year and so on. So here for how many years they have given, for that many years you have to multiply and you have to calculate. Then next one, calculation of expected NPV. So expected net present value. So expected net present value will be ENPV is equal to joint probability, which we have calculated in the previous step, and already we have calculated the NPV, right? So this NPV. So here ENPV is equal to joint probability into NPV. So if we multiply this and we have to calculate the total expected net present value. So once we are calculating total expected net present value, we'll get certain results. So on the basis of result, if the suggestion, the final step, suggestion, if the NPV is positive, then you can accept. If the ENPV is negative, you can reject. If it is equal to 0, may or may not accept. It depends on the decision of the company. If they want to accept, they can accept. If they don't want to accept, they can reject the project or proposal or the alternative. So these are the steps which are included in the decision tree analysis. Now let us go with the one problem so that you can understand easily. Right, so this is about the problem. So you can see here, Mr. Nagesh is considering an investment proposal of rupees 20,000. The returns during the life of the investment are as follows. So here they have given the life of the investment, cash flows for the life of the investment. So we will see how many years they have given the data. So in the data, see first one, year 1 they have given. So in year 1 there are 3 possibilities, it seems. Either I may get 8,000 or 12,000 or 10,000. The chances of occurrence or probability of 8,000 is 30% or 0.30. Chances of occurrence of 12,000 is about 50%, that is 0.5, and chances of occurrence is 10,000 at 0.2. So this data includes for year 1. Then for year 2. So year 2 will be based on the year 1. So how? Based on year 1. Here see cash inflows in year 1. So if it is 8,000, if it is 12,000, if it is 10,000. Where is this data? This data is here. The 8,000, 12,000, 10,000. Now, so cash inflows they have given in the first year. This is for first year cash inflow. Then event. So event again there are 3 possibilities it seems. 1, 2, 3 they have given the cash. Suppose in first, see I'll tell you. In first year if I am getting 8,000, then again I have 3 possibilities. Suppose if I am getting 12,000 in the first year, again I have 3 possibilities. If I am getting 10,000 in the first year, again there are 3 possibilities for the second year. So by using this particular problem with the 10% cost of capital. So 10% cost of capital means the discount factor is 10%. So what is the discount factor in this problem? It's about 10%. Cost of capital. Advise the company about the acceptability of the proposal, whether they have to accept or whether they have to reject this proposal. You have to identify or you have to give the suggestion to them whether they have to accept or not. You have to give the advice whether they have to accept or not. Now let us go with the calculation. So for the calculation here we can do on the basis of where we can say we can do here or we can identify here on the basis of steps. I have explained you here by using easiest method of steps. So you can see here. So now you see this particular calculation part, where in this particular calculation part where half will be explained in the before calculating NPV, then after calculating NPV this particular part will be explained. Don't get confused or don't get stressed because you may see there are lot many numbers, it will be difficult. No, it's very easiest way of calculation of NPV and ENPV under decision tree analysis. So now let us go with the step 1. What is the step 1? Step 1, can you remember? Step 1 is identification of path. So now let us identify the paths. So the paths, if for the identification of the path we require 3 different columns. Which are those columns? Column 1, 2, 3. So column 1 is year 0. Year 0 means present year. That is when I am investing the money. So how much I am investing the money? See, it has been mentioned in the problem. Where it is mentioned? See here. See, Mr. Nagesh is considering an investment proposal for 20,000. So 20,000 is a investment proposal cost, which means that 20,000 he is going to invest. So when he is investing 20,000, the cash is going out of the organization. That's why here minus 20,000 we have said, that is 20,000 is represented in minus because the cash is going out of the organization. So that's why cash outflow. So year 0 means investing year will be always 0. If I am investing in this year, after 1 year I will get the value. So after 1 year how I got? See here in the year 1. In the year 1 this is a cash inflow. So again here in year 1 this is a cash inflow. And in year 2, see this is a year 2. They have given the details of cash inflow. Same year 2 I have written the cash inflows. I hope you understood how I have written first 3 columns. So if you know these first 3 columns, then it is easy to identify the path. So now how the paths are identified? See, the paths are identified. I will explain each and every path. Listen carefully. Where if I am investing 20,000 today, after 1 year I will get 8,000. After 2 years I will get 15,000. This is first path. If I am investing minus 20, that is 20,000 today, after 1 year I will get 8,000 and after 2 years I will get 20,000. This is second path. Then if I am investing 20,000 today, after 1 year I will get 8,000 and after 2 years I will get 25,000. This is how many paths we have identified? 20,000, 8,000, 15,000, 20,000, 8,000, 20,000, minus 20,000, 8,000, 25,000. So these 3 paths. Now let us for next one. If I am investing 20,000 today, after 1 year I will get 12,000, after 2 years 20,000, minus 12,000, 12,000, 20,000, minus 20,000, 12,000, 30,000, minus 20,000, 12,000, 40,000. So this comes to another 3 paths. And finally, if I'm investing 20,000 today, I'm going to get 10,000 on after 1 year and 25,000 after 2 years. First year 10,000, second year 40,000. First year 10,000, second year 60,000. So totally how many paths we identified? Totally 9 paths. 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 3. Then again 1, 2, 3. So this comes to the consideration. Now we'll go with the, so we have identified the path. So the same path when we have identified, we can go with the calculation. See here it comes to step 2 to 6. So 2 to 6 here, cash flow identification, discount factor calculation, PVCI, total PVCI and NPV. Now, so cash inflow in the first year. So 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, because here this 8,000 is for 3 times because I am getting 3 here. Again 12,000 for 3 times, this one 3 times, then 10,000 3 times, 25,000. So whatever was there here in 1, 2, 3, 3 columns I have written here. See, 8,000 with 15,000, 8,000 with 20,000, 8,000 with 25,000, 12,000 with 20,000, 12,000 with 30,000. So we identified path. So here whatever is there here in this 3 column, the same we are going to follow here. See, from step 2 to 6. So in 2 to 6 we are going to do identification of cash flow, identification of discount factor, calculation of present value of cash inflows, total PVCI and NPV. So now the paths, how we can write? So we can write 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, because here you can see 8,000 for 3 possibilities, that is 1, 2, 3, and next we have 12,000, then 10,000. So here the first path is 8,000 with 15,000, 8,000 with 20,000, 8,000 with 25,000, 12,000 with 20,000, like that. Now, so you identified the cash inflow. So after identifying the cash inflow, see, one more way you can identify the cash inflow here, like the events. See, events, main events, that is in the year 1, that is A, B, C, the 3 possibilities which are there here. See, 3, 8,000, 12,000 and 10,000. And apart from this, we have again 3, 3. For first one 3, second one 3, third one 3. So here first one 3, 8,000 with 15,000, 20,000, 25,000. Then with 12,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. And with 10,000 we have 25,000, 40,000 and the 60,000. Now we have to calculate the discount factor, right? For calculating discount factor, how we can calculate discount factor? We can calculate the discount factor by using formula 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n. So here I have showed you how to calculate the discount factor. So you can see here calculation of discount factor at 10%. Why I have taken 10%? Because in the problem they have mentioned 10%. So 10%. So the formula which I am going to use is this one, 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n. So for first year the discount factor will be calculated. See, n will be 1 for the first year and n will be 2 for the second year. So n, r means rate of return or cost of capital or discount factor, that is r at 10% it seems. So r is equal to 10%. This 10% we can remove the percentage and we can write 0.10, or here directly we can write and we can calculate, no problem. So 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power 1. So is equal to 1 divided by 1.10 to the power 1. So here 1 plus 10%. 10% means removing the percentage will get 0.10. So 1 plus 0.10 will come 1.10. So 1 divided by 1.10 to the power 1. So 1.10 to the power 1 is 1.10. So 1 divided by 1.10 will get the answer 0.909. Then next, for the second year, 1 divided by, this formula is same, 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n. Then 1 divided by 1 plus 10% to the power 2 is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus 10 to the power 2. That is 1.10 into 1.10. So we'll get answer that 1 divided by, if you're doing the power, we'll get 0.826. So this comes to the value of second year. Now we'll come to the table. So in the table we are written discount factor. So the discount factor, see, all the values belongs to which year? First year. So what is the first year discount factor? First year discount factor is 909. From where we got? See, we got here. I showed you how to calculate 0.909, that is 10% for the first year. Discount factor at 10% for the first year. So this all belongs to first year. Then this is for second year. Again, second year, how we have calculated? Again, using same formula, where 1 divided by 1.10 to the power 2, that is 1.10 into 1.10. So 1 divided by 1.10 to the power 2, the square, will get 0.826. So this is all comes for second year discount factor. Now present value of cash inflows. How to calculate present value of cash inflows? Present value of cash inflows will be calculated by multiplying first year cash flow into first year discount factor, that is 8000 into 0.909, will get 7272. Again 8000 into 0.909, 8000 into 0.909, 12,000 into 0.909, 12,000 into 0.909, 12,000 into 0.909, 10,000 into 0.909, 10,000 into 0.909, 10,000 into 0.909. So here we got all the values. See, for 1 I have calculated 3, again 3, again 3. Now second one, again second year cash inflow with second year discount factor, that is 15,000 into 0.826. So if we multiply 15,000 into 0.826, we'll get 12,390. So here in the second one, 20,000 into 0.826, 25,000 into 0.826, 20,000 into 0.826, 30,000 into 0.826, 40,000 into 0.826, 25,000 into 0.826, 40,000 into 0.826, and finally 60,000 into 0.826. Now we have to calculate total PVCI, that is total present value of cash inflow. So by adding first year and second year, first year PVCI plus second year PVCI, that is 7,272 plus 12,390. So we'll get 19,622. So if I add these two, I'll get all these values. So these two plus will get this. If I add these two, I'll get this. If I add these two, I will get this. If I add these two, I will get this. So like this we have done. Finally, NPV. What is the formula to calculate NPV? That is net present value total PVCI minus initial investment. What is our initial investment? Our initial investment according to this problem is 20,000. 20,000 is my initial investment. From where I got this 20,000? I got this 20,000 from the problem. See here, Mr. Nagesh is considering an investment proposal. What is the cost of that proposal? 20,000. So whatever the total PVCI I got, I have to deduct 20,000 from that. So now always it should be total PVCI minus initial investment. Don't do initial investment minus total PVCI. First should be the return minus investment. Will get what is the exact benefit or the profit we got. So here the net present value. So 19,662 minus 20,000 will get 338. 23,792 minus 20,000, I will get 3,792. 27,922 minus 20,000, I will get 7,922. 24,428 minus 20,000, I will get 7,428. Like that, if I am deducting all the values, I will get this value. And once I got this NPV, we have to go back to the calculation or the decision tree pattern. So here see, after these three columns we used to calculate the path. So once we calculated the path, we have calculated the NPV. So after calculating NPV, whatever the values you got in NPV, let us write here. So NPV 338, 3,792, 7,922. So this is a value I got here. So again, how I got this one? Total PVCI minus 20,000. So once I got the NPV, write down the NPV. After writing the NPV, the next step is you have to calculate joint probability. So joint probability, how you can calculate? By multiplying the probability of first year into probability of second year. So first year probability is 0.3. 0.3 into 0.2, 0.06. 0.3, I am repeating once again, 0.3 into 0.2 is 0.06. Again 0.3 into 0.6, 0.18. 0.3 into 0.2, 0.06. 0.5 into 1, 0.05. 0.5 into 8, 0.40. 0.5 into 0.1, 0.05. Finally 0.2 into 0.2, 0.04. 0.2 into 0.5, 0.10, and 0.2 into 0.3, 0.06. See, always this probability total should come to 1. If you are not getting this 1, then the total multiplication for joint probability what you have done will become wrong. So you should be very careful when you are calculating joint probability. Joint probability will be calculated by multiplying the probability of first year into probability of second year. And finally, the eighth step, that's about calculation of expected net present value. How to calculate expected net present value? Expected net present value will be calculated by multiplying net present value with joint probability. So now the values which are there in these two columns should be multiplied. 338 into 0.06 will get 20.28. 3792 into 0.18, so you will get 682.56. so like this you have to calculate the ENPV. So once you have calculated the ENPV, you have to total it. So in this particular problem, in this particular problem you got the value as 11,911.50. Now see, in this I have written in bracket. See, writing in bracket is the another way to show that it is in negative or minus. You can use either minus 338 or you can write in bracket. There is no any mistake in that. So here you have to add all this and you have to minus 2.20. So once you are doing this, you will get the value 11,911.50, and this situation will come. What is the answer we got? Whether it is positive or negative? This is a positive. So then what is the conclusion? The conclusion is, or the suggestion is, see, step 9, the last step. Step 9 is suggestion. On the basis of the ENPV, we have to write the suggestion. So how we can write the suggestion, or how we can advise? We can advise like, as the NENPV, that is expected net present value, is positive, which means how much we got? 11,911.50. It is suggested to accept the proposal. It is suggested to accept the proposal. So here in this particular problem we have identified so different steps, around 9 steps, where those are the easiest steps. See, in the beginning you may feel it is difficult, or it looks very large calculation or more calculation. No, it's not like that. It's very easy to understand and at the same time easy to score the marks. So I hope you understood the reason why we will use decision tree analysis technique for technique in capital budgeting to select a best proposal or best project in such a way that the risk is minimum and the return is maximum. So we'll meet in the next video. Thank you.